Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is December 18th, and the Dodgers have traded for Tyler Glasnow and Manuel Margot. The Royals are staying busy at the hot stove, and we've got details on Ohtani's deferral. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are you doing today, ladies and gentlemen? I want to apologize first and foremost for not having an episode on Friday. I really wanted to, but unfortunately, I had an exam for school as well as work, so I was not able to sit down and get through a recording. But we're here today, a week from the last episode, since Ohtani signed, since we did that episode, and we've got some more Dodge news. We've got some Royals stuff. We got a couple NL West teams getting some outfielders for a couple of years. So there's things to talk about. So I'm excited for today's episode. We got Yamamoto Rumors as well. So we have quite the healthy agenda for today's episode. But if you're new here and you want to support the channel, support me, feel free to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, feel free to follow it. Put the bell on so you know when I upload. Want to throw that out there. But yeah, so without further ado, kind of things here, let's get things started. I just woke up, so I'm a little tired, but I'm excited to be recording. And yeah, so let's dive on in. And let's start talking about the biggest news since we last spoke. And that is the Dodgers and the Rays. They have made a trade. And what a trade it is. The Dodgers are acquiring ace Tyler Glasnow from the Rays, as well as Manuel Margot, outfielder, in exchange for Ryan Pepiot and Johnny DeLuca. And this is what confused me. Maybe I just didn't read this right, but the Johnny DeLuca thing was if Glasnow signs extension. I don't understand that, or I don't understand how that works. So, like, if Tyler Glasnow signs an extension with us, you can also have this prospect, but if he doesn't, then you can't. Was kind of my understanding of it, but maybe I just kind of read the situation wrong. But then there was reports that he was probably going to sign the extension anyways and regardless. And then there was a report that Tyler Glasnow did get extended for 4 years, $110 million, when the Dodgers have a club option in 2028 for $30 million. So he's going to be a Dodger for 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027 for sure. And then if the Dodgers want to pay him $30 million in 2028, he will be a Dodger for one last year. That is the extension there, and it's quite the trade, and obviously we talked about it in the last episode with Shohei Ohtani. The Dodgers, they are, a good team, and having Ohtani is great, but you definitely needed to go get some pitching because that's where the Dodgers were lacking, and the move makes sense for the Dodgers. Get an outfielder, get a pitcher. Obviously, the pitcher is being the most important, and what a pitcher Tyler Glasnow has been. 10-7 last year with a 3.53 ERA. Tyler Glasnow, to be honest with you, besides playoff, has always been an elite pitcher since kind of getting to Tampa Bay. Of course, he came over with Austin Meadows in the trade from Pittsburgh to Tampa Bay for Chris Archer back in 2018. And since then, Tyler Glasnow has been really strong. In 2019 specifically, he had a 1.78 ERA. Of course, it's in 12 games, and that's always been the question mark with Tyler Glasnow. Last year in 2023, this was the most he's ever played in a season, 21 games started for. Last year, he only played 2. The year before that, 14. So Tyler Glasnow, when healthy, has been strong and has been a great pitcher, but the question is staying healthy has always been slight issues for Tyler Glasnow. But it's a good pickup for the Dodgers regardless. he essentially becomes a two now on that staff after Walker Buehler. But of course, he's not the only one they got. They also got Manuel Margot, and this will be Margot's third team. He's back in the NL West after spending his first few years with the Padres and the last 4 years with the Rays. In 2017, he finished sixth in Rookie of the Year voting. I did not think he would finish in Rookie of the Year voting, to be honest with you. Manuel Margot is a consistently average player. Last year, 82 hits, only 4 home runs last year, so he's not gonna be swinging for the fences. A 686 OPS, so kind of a down year for Margot last year, but he will join the Dodgers as well as Glasnow and see how that all fits together. I think the move is great for the Dodgers, like I said, without going too much into it. For me, I have a hard time understanding this from the Rays' point of view. Obviously, they want to shed salary. That's why they shipped Glasnow in the first place, and that's why the rumors were all starting. But I felt like they could have gotten a lot more than Ryan Pepiot and Johnny DeLuca. Not to discredit those two, and obviously when it comes to prospects, I can only be aware about so many of the kids. But I don't know what the Rays see in these two. Obviously, we know the Rays are well known for turning prospects and turning young kids into these superstars. Maybe they see something in Ryan Pepiot that they think is top tier potential, or maybe in Johnny DeLuca. I'm not sure, but I find it interesting that the Rays only got those two. And for other teams, I mean, I feel like teams could have matched this a little bit better, and could have potentially gotten Glasnow. You know, it's not just the Dodgers who need the pitching help, so we'll see where that goes. The last thing to note from Margot is this year is technically his last year. There is a 2025 mutual option for $12 million. So if both Margot and the Dodgers take that option, he would be a Dodger next year as well. But that is if that happens. So who knows about that. But yeah, good for the Dodgers to go get that starter, show the initiative. I think you need one more pitcher maybe to be kind of like a powerhouse team. Because like Bobby Miller and Ryan Yarbrough after that isn't the safest pitchers out there, but good for the Dodgers. And if the Rays, will hopefully Ryan Pepiot and Johnny DeLuca turn out big for you guys. Alrighty, now let's shift gears from talking about a powerhouse instead now to talk about how about a dark horse is now the term that I want to use when talking about the Kansas City Royals. Last week, I joked about the Kansas City Royals being the 2024 World Series winners just because they signed Will Smith, who has won the last 3 World Series. This week, I'm here to tell you that the Royals could actually make some noise in 2024, and the Royals that we saw this year, who were 5th place and one of the worst teams in baseball, could be sneakily fighting for the division if they play the cards right and if their players are healthy and good to go. So why am I saying that? It's because I think the Royals have been the busiest team in the offseason. They've made the most signings, the most moves. They're doing what they can to make their team look good. And right now, at least pitching-wise, they are starting to look very good. This week, the Royals made 5 moves, 4 signings and a trade. And I think all of them are going to help them out in a big way. The first one being Seth Lugo to the Royals on a 3-year, $45 million deal. Seth Lugo, first year last year with the Padres as a pitcher, and he was very good. 3.57 ERA, 8-7 on the year, 140 strikeouts, only 36 walks. So it was a good, strong year for Seth Lugo. And he's not the only Padres pitcher the Royals signed, because Michael Wacha is coming over to the Royals on a 2-year deal worth $32 million, and an opt-out for him after the first year. Once an All-Star with the Cardinals, he's been bouncing around from team to team in the last couple of years. 2020 he was with the Mets, 2021 the Rays, 2022 Boston, and then 2023 San Diego. So now he's got Kansas City in his books, his 6th team in his career. And Michael Wacha, sneakily good last year as well, a 3.22 ERA in 24 starts, 134 innings pitched, 124 strikeouts, and 43 walks to his name there. So, underratedly, like a strong year for Michael Wacha. His that's been his best ERA since his days with the Cardinals back in 2018. The 3.22 last year with the Padres, so he's only getting better right now too. So you throw those two in the rotation, now you got to do something for the offense. What are you going to do? They go sign Hunter Renfroe to a 2-year deal worth $13 million, and then opt out after the 2024 season. Obviously, Hunter Renfroe, he's been jumping from team to team as well over the last couple of years. From the Padres in 2019 during COVID. 2020 was with the Rays, then Boston, then Milwaukee, and then last year he spent some time with LA and Cincinnati as well. In total last year, though, 20 home runs, 116 hits, his OPS of 713. He's a power guy, he's a slugger, expect him to strike out, but expect him, to hit a lot of home runs for you guys, get some guys in scoring position and drive them on in. Especially in Kauffman Stadium, I find that a nice stadium and a hitter-friendly stadium. I like the dimensions on it. It's very wide open, easy for triples. But yeah, so there you go. Hunter Renfroe as well. They also go out and sign Chris Stratton to a 2-year, $8 million deal. Now, Stratton, this will be his 9th year in the majors. Last year, he was with the Cardinals, was traded to the champions in Texas. He was on that team, and he is a World Series champion, a winner there. In total last year, though, he came 23 appearances out of the bullpen, a 3.92 ERA, 82 innings pitched, and 81 strikeouts with 25 walks. Essentially, he's a multi-inning guy. He's going to come out for a lot. Sorry, did I say 23 games out of the bullpen? Sorry, 64 games out of the bullpen with 82 innings. He's not just a 1-inning guy, though. If you need him for 2, maybe even 3, he will. He's had some starts in his career as well, especially with his earlier days with San Francisco when he first debuted back in the years of 2016, 17, and 18. Excuse me. If needed, the Royals can use him as a starter as well, but I don't think they'll need to. I think he'll be a back-end guy there at the bullpen. We'll see how they go with that. And the last move that they made is that they made a trade with the Brewers. The Royals sent over the minor leaguers of Ryan Brady and Cam Devaney for the Brewers to send over Taylor Clark to the Royals, another relief pitcher there. Last year, I believe the trade is the reverse. I think I said the wrong thing. The Brewers are getting Taylor Clark. The Royals are getting the minor leaguers Ryan Brady and Cam Devaney. My apologies there. Devaney last year with the Royals pitched to a 5.95 ERA in 58 games, 65 strikeouts, and 24 walks. So not the best year for Taylor Clark, who is now with the Brewers. I'm sorry I mixed that up. So Brewers, Taylor Clark. Royals get minor leaguers Ryan Brady and Cam Devaney. But yeah, the Royals right now are looking enticing, very different. Obviously, we know that the AL Central essentially is the weakest division in the major leagues. The White Sox aren't competing. The Guardians, Twins are obviously a top team. The Tigers are starting to look better. If the Tigers can get their performance from their young players and even Javi Baez to kind of like stand out, I think the Tigers could easily take a division next year. But we're talking about right now, if the Guardians stay average, if the Twins, they're losing a lot of pitching, so who knows how they're going to look next year. If the Tigers kind of just maybe take a step forward or two, but don't go all the way up there, I think the Royals can easily jump into a position where maybe they compete for the division, but at least they won't come fourth. I think they could pass one of those 3 teams and take a 3rd place. But of course, that's if players are healthy. Having Vinny Pasquantino back and healthy is a big thing. MJ Melendez, what can he give you? Salvador Perez, Bobby Witt Jr., There are other guys who were injured last year who, weren't there for the end of the year. Michael Massey, Kyle Isbell. Offensively, they need, another guy or two. The pitchers wise, I mean, their rotation now is completely different. We're talking about, a Cole Reagans 1, a Seth Lugo 2, a Brady Singer 3, Michael Wacha 4. And for that fifth spot, I mean, you can go Chris Bubich, you can go Kyle Wright, who you got from the Braves. There's, if you want Daniel Lynch, maybe they go back out and sign Zach Greinke. I don't know. But right now, we're talking about Seth Lugo, Cole Reagans, Brady Singer, and Michael Wacha as your 1 through 4. And to be honest, that is for a team that was supposed to, like the Royals were last year, for having that jump now this year, that's very impressive. That's a strong rotation right there. And don't forget, they have a lot of minor league talent. Asa Lacy, if he gets the call at some point this year, it means that the Royals are doing exceptionally well. And I am so in on that kid. A left-handed, hard-throwing guy. He gives off, Randy Johnson, Chris Sale, that dominant lefty. Asa Lacy could be something big. The Royals have plenty of prospects, plenty of young guys in their system. And this Royals team will be interesting to watch heading into 2024. If they stay busy, if they sign maybe another bat or two, that would definitely help Kansas City's odds. But watch out for the Royals, potential 2024 World Series winner. All right, now let's talk about some of the NL West teams that have gone out to get outfielder help. Let's start with the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are staying with Gurriel. They signed him to a 3-year, $42 million deal with an opt-out for him after the 2025 season and a club option for the D-backs in 2027 for $14 million. And I love this move a lot. When the Blue Jays traded him to the Diamondbacks last year, it was his first year as an All-Star, and possibly one of his best seasons ever. The most hits in his career, the most doubles in a career for him. His career high in home runs, his almost a career high in RBIs. But he was just extremely strong. Career high in runs as well. A 772 OPS for him last year with the Diamondbacks. And he helped them kind of go all the way to the World Series. So, when he hit free agency, I was wondering where he was going to go. There was a couple things I was hearing and everything, but I like it. I like him going back to the Diamondbacks. I think it makes sense for him. He found success there. I think he would want to stay there. So, I'm very happy about this move. Gurriel's a very good ball player, and he's going to be entering his age 30 season this year in 2024. So, I think he's going to be good for these 3 years, and I think he would want to stay. I don't think he's going to opt out after 2025. And, we could be talking about 2027, and the Diamondbacks easily pick up this club option if he so plays the potential that, he can have, because he is a strong ball player, very friendly guy. Fans love him. Blues fans, when he was with them, Arizona fans, they were all out for him last year as well. So, good stuff there. And the state, finally the Giants get somebody, because the Giants have been linked to so many people as well. I've been missing out. But they get an outfielder. They're getting Jung-Ho Lee for 6 years at $113 million. He can opt out after year 4 if he so chooses. But Jung-Ho Lee from the KBO signs with your San Francisco Giants. Taking a look at his numbers now, he's going to be entering his age 25 season this year in 2024. Last year, 105 hits, 6 home runs, 45 ribbies, 860 OPS. So for him, kind of a down year. Going back to 2023, which looks like his best season in his career, he had 23 home runs, 113 RBIs, 193 hits, so nearly 200. So he's a contact guy. Looking at the batting average, his last 3 seasons, 318, 349, 360. His OPS 860, 996, and 959. So in 2021 and 2022, he was flirting with 1,000 OPS in a season. From what I've heard and from my understanding of him, he is a contact first player. He does have some pop, but he is mainly just speed, contact, and good defending. That's great for the Giants because that's kind of what they needed. They needed someone to fill up the gap. He's most likely going to be playing center field for them. Yeah, I like this move for the Giants as well. You know, they were linked to, of course, Ohtani. They were linked to Bellinger. But now signing Jung-Ho Lee, you know, will they go after Bellinger now? I'm not sure because they still have Michael Conforter, they still have Mike Yastrzemski, and now Jung-Ho Lee. Do the Giants need 4 left-handed outfielders? Probably not, if I'm just being honest. So Bellinger might have to be looking elsewhere, like teams like the Cubs and the Blue Jays. But we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, so good for the Giants, good for Jung-Ho Lee. Obviously Gurriel as well, and the Diamondbacks. So yeah, the NL West. Obviously, with all the Dodgers news happening, some of these teams need to stay active as well and stay competing with your Dodgers. Speaking of the Dodgers and Ohtani, I gotta talk about this deferral a little bit because I don't even know, man. I don't even know where to start with this. So since last week's episode when we talked about Ohtani being a Dodger for $70 million, that is no longer the case technically because he's only going to be making $2 million a year when he plays with the Dodgers. That is shocking to me. But the thing also is that he wanted that. Like the Ohtani wanted the deferred money, and he wanted to get so little money, so the Dodgers could use that money to spend on better players around him, i.e. Tyler Glasnow. You know, that's a start there. But it's very interesting. So for the next 10 years, from 2024 to 2033, Ohtani will be making $20 million. $2 million each year, and then in 2034 Ohtani will be getting paid $68 million each year on July 1st from 2034 to 2043, which is just crazy that, you know, MLB without a salary cap with so like little restrictions are able to do this, because that is crazy. To have that be the case, like the deferral money is so much. Like it is absurd amount how much the Dodgers are deferring to after he's done playing with the Dodgers. You know, it's a wild contract structure. Funny enough, in 2034 when the Dodgers start paying Ohtani his deferred money of $68 million. That's when Bobby Bonilla Day ends, the last year for that. In 2035, it'll officially now be Ohtani Day instead of Bobby Bonilla Day. But it's a crazy structure. If you haven't seen it, I would go check it out because there's a lot of like news coming out with it as well. Another thing is that it's also based on Dodger personnel. So if for whatever reason the Dodgers make a head office change or certain you know, people in the front office, if they get fired or quit, Ohtani's allowed to opt out at any point. So I wonder how that technically works. It's a contract like we've never seen. Let's just say that, because I have no idea how it's going to play out. I really don't. But for now, all I can say is Ohtani is a Dodger. He'll be playing games. How he gets paid and how long he stays a Dodger at this point, who knows? But it's a crazy structure and it's a crazy deal. You know, Ohtani's it's just crazy, man. It's the only word that I can comprehend to say. I wish I could say like a more articulate word that like means the exact same, but it's just wild that Ohtani has the structure. It's something that he wanted too, and like I understand it, but like $2 million is so low. He's gonna be one of the lowest paid players on the Dodgers for now. I don't know, man. Something about that's odd too. I saw someone made a Wolf on Wall Street edit. Very funny video. I'm not sure who made it actually. I would give credit, but at the end, you know, Leo DiCaprio like comes on. It's like, and you have to be wondering like, how is this legal? Of course it isn't. And like that, it's just funny because I don't understand how a team could do this and get away with it too. Like it's because at that point, then why don't you just do a lot of your contracts like that? Backload the heck out of them. I don't know, man. It's wild. Dodgers and Ohtani, man. What's the news going to be for next week? Who knows? All right, a couple of starting pitchers have signed here as well. Let's start with Jack Flaherty. He's going to the Detroit Tigers on a 1-year, $14 million deal. Of course, Flaherty has not been the same in recent years. Debuted in 2017. The following year, in 2018, his first full season was 5th in Rookie of the Year. Then in 2019, his best season of his career, finished 4th in Cy Young voting and 13th in the MVP voting. And since then, his ERA has inflated, and last year was no different. In his age 27 season in 2023, he played with the Cardinals before getting traded to Baltimore. He finishes his year with an ERA just under 5 at 4.99. He pitched 29 games, 144 innings, 148 strikeouts, 80 earned runs, 17 home runs, 66 walks. He's a guy that can get you a really good start one day and then the next day give you a really poor one. I think $14 million is kind of high for him, the way he's been playing the last couple of years. But obviously the Tigers could use some pitching right now as their guys still kind of deal with injuries. Some of the young guys are still developing. So I think it's an okay move for the Tigers, and hopefully it works out for him and Flaherty. Kind of can find some of that form like he had in 2019 in his age 23 season. He's going to be 28 next year, and this will be his third team Cardinals, Baltimore Tigers. What a weird path for Jack Flaherty. He's not the only pitcher who signed, though. Tyler Mahle has gone from Minnesota to now the champion Texas Rangers. Of course, Mahle, he was traded from the Reds to Minnesota in 2022, and then last year in his first, technically only season with Minnesota, he got hurt. He only played 5 games, and if you go back to last year as well, in the after the deadline and everything, he only played 4 games. So his time with the Twins consists of 9 games where he pitched to a 3.64 ERA in 42 innings, and now is no longer a Ranger. No longer a Twin. He's now a Ranger. So it's hard to speculate on this guy because he is kind of been a consistently good pitcher, not anything top of the mill and ace potential, but he's had decent seasons in, the last couple of seasons with the Reds. He had a 3.59 ERA, a 3.75 ERA. So he is a good starter. He is a guy who can go out there and give you a good, start every now and then. In his 7-year career, between both with the Reds and the Twins, his ERA is at 4.30. So no, I consider him a good starter. His stuff is up there in terms of nastiness. He's got some junk in it, right there. So I don't know. I think he's gonna be a good fit for Texas. Hopefully he can bounce back now that he's healthy again, and continue to pitch well. You have to wonder what this means for other moves that the Rangers are making, i.e., they're looking at Josh Hader. They're trying to sign Jordan Montgomery back. So it'll be interesting what that means for Texas there. It also was announced that Scherzer officially had his surgery, and he's looking for a middle of the season return, possibly end of June, early July. So we'll see what that does for Scherzer. In the meantime, that's also about when Jacob deGrom might be coming back as well. So the Rangers could be getting a huge bump in their rotation come the middle of the season there. But Mahle signs with the Rangers, Flaherty signs with the Tigers. There's some starting pitcher signs. All right, the Braves' roller coaster of trades continue as they trade for Matt Carpenter, Ray Kerr, and cash for Drew Campbell with the Padres. The Braves have made some interesting trades this offseason, and if you get traded, it's usually to trade you to somewhere else. And there was already a report that the Braves' intention is to trade Matt Carpenter, so they only kind of take up some of his salary and, pick it up because they wanted Ray Kerr, a left-handed pitcher with some upside there, as well as they're getting cash from the Padres as well. For outfielder Drew Campbell, of course, these are prospects. I'm not too familiar with some of them. But of course, Matt Carpenter in his heyday, an amazing player for the Cardinals. He's up there in age, but he can still, get a base hit here and there. Had a poor season in 2023, an average under 200. Not the best, but, plan to trade him. So maybe he finds his way on like in Oakland. Maybe even Kansas City, I think, could use him. So we'll see what that means there. There was also an announcement the Braves are outrighting David Fletcher to AAA. So it kind of goes to wonder, why would you trade for him then if the plan is to put him in AAA? I'm sure he's going to get called up later on in the year, to be the backup infielder. But it's just funny, like the Braves are like making trades and like taking those trades and trading them to other teams and then taking those players. Like they've done a whole like circle of trades. It's been pretty funny to keep an eye on. I mean, it also had kind of with the Mariners. They get Kalanick, who so far it looks like they're keeping, but they also get Marco Gonzalez and Evan White. They flip Marco Gonzalez to the Pirates. They flip Evan White to the Angels to get Max Stassi and David Fletcher. David Fletcher's now in AAA. They send Max Stassi to the White Sox. Now this, it's been a whole circle for the Braves as they keep making some trades there. So I wanted to mention that quickly. Let's talk about the Pirates now. They're doing some adding as well, trying to stay active in the market. They're signing Rowdy Tellez to a one-year, $3.2 million deal. Now, I love me some Rowdy Tellez, but last year he was not great. A 667 OPS, a 215 average, 13 home runs. That is not good, especially because last year with the Brewers in 2022, the year before last year, he had 35 home runs with 89 RBIs and a 767 OPS. And then the year before that even, didn't have as many home runs, but he had an 814 OPS, one of his highest OPS in his career. But yeah, so going from NL Central Brewers to NL Central Pirates, hopefully he does really well with the Pirates because, like I said, I do like a lot of things about Rowdy Tellez in terms of his personality and as well as the way he swings. I think he swings a good bat when he makes contact. He can send the ball a long way. He could be entering his seventh year in his career, and he's 8 home runs away from 100. So there's a milestone to kind of keep in mind as he plays with the Pirates this season. And he's not the only one that is a new pirate. Excuse me. I don't know what I'm saying right now. The Pirates are in agreement with a trade with the New York Yankees. The Pirates are getting Billy McKinney, outfielder, in exchange for some cash as well as some international bonus pool money. Obviously, that you have to wonder about that with Yamamoto, a little bit of extra. But regardless, over the week, Pirates get Rowdy Tellez and Billy McKinney, both former Blue Jays, and hopefully that helps the Pirates team right now in what is a very interesting NL Central division. Yeah. All right, now I want to talk about a little bit of the Yamamoto rumors that have been circling recently. It seems like he's going to be signing any day now. There's been a lot of teams who have been linked with him, such as the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, the Giants, Phillies, obviously the Mets, Yankees, Dodgers being the kind of big trio at the front. It's very interesting to see what's going to happen to him. He has until January 5th at 5 p.m. to sign, January 4th, which basically means, 16, 17 days. But the way things have been cycling right now, I feel like he's going to sign at some point this week before Christmas. And it really does seem like it's going to be to a New York team, whether it's the Yankees or the Mets. Probably right now the top pitcher on the market, as well as Blake Snell. He's had some meetings with the Yankees recently, some meetings with the Mets. He met with the Phillies at some point last week as well. It was reported that teams like the Giants and the Red Sox have made offers more than $300 million. So it seems like this guy is going to be getting the bag for some team. Obviously, with the Ohtani deferral, the Dodgers had the money to spend for him if they so need it. But I think right now it's the Mets and the Yankees who lead it and are trying to get him the most. Yamamoto requested a second meeting with the Yankees recently as well. That happened yesterday, I believe. So it seems like he's starting to narrow down his decisions. And although teams like the Red Sox, Giants, Blue Jays, Dodgers, Phillies have been linked, I still believe, and I said this I think at the beginning when I was doing free agency predictions, I still think he finds himself somewhere in New York, whether it be with the Mets or with the Yankees. But I just want to talk about that quickly because it seems like the stove is very hot for that news, and it could be happening as soon, some point maybe today later on or some point this week. I think it is going to happen soon though, so that's why I want to mention that briefly here towards the end. All right, one other thing I want to talk about here. Last week, MLB announced that they're doing something different this year with spring training. They're announcing something called the Spring Breakout. And basically, it's going to be a chance for teams to show off their top prospects in the showcase. This will happen between March 14th and March 17th, so 4 days there. The way it's supposedly going to work is that all 30 teams will assemble rosters filled with 20 to 25 of their team's best prospects, and then each one of those players will at least play one 7-inning exhibition game in however many games they get, maybe 2, maybe 3 games over that 4-day span. And this is great. This is absolutely amazing for baseball because MLB's been trying to kind of get younger, the whole let the kids play thing that happened a couple of years ago. They want their young talent shining, and this is great opportunities, for fans to also get invested into some of these kids and start learning some of their names, When I was reading the article on MLB, they were talking about how basically this means that it'd be Jackson Holiday for Baltimore versus Paul Skeens for the Pirates. And these are two of, the top kids, And so you'll be able to see players like Asa Lacy, Ricky Tiedemann, Dylan Cruz, young prospects with all this upside, and it gets you kind of excited if you're watching your Nationals play, seeing your prospects go. Same thing can be said for Baltimore with all of their young talent. I think this is amazing. I can't wait to watch this in March. I just want to talk about it briefly because I think it's a really strong idea from, MLB. I really am excited to watch the team's prospects, give it their all, see these young guys and be like, wow, these guys are actually better than I thought, or hey, this is a name now that I'm going to know now. I so many times we have trades of oh, this minor leaguer, what was it earlier? Ray Kerr to the Braves, Drew Campbell to the Padres. The Royals got Ryan Brady and Cam Devaney, or these guys that are good, these guys that I'm going to know soon and be MLB players, or they're just going to not be there. So, it'll be very interesting to see how it works. I'm excited for it. And, just want to talk about that briefly because that is a really strong idea from MLB. All right, and the last thing to talk about today, on Saturday, MLB announced its 5th annual All-MLB Team first and second team winners. But not only that, they also announced that Ronald Acuna Jr. and Shohei Ohtani are your Hank Aaron Award winners. The MVPs are also your Hank Award winners. That happens very often, so good for them both. But let's talk about the teams here. So let's start with the AL, and let's start with the first team, of course. Catcher from Baltimore, Adley Rutschman. First baseman, sorry, did I say start with the AL here? It's a combined AL and NL, so it's basically just all MLB. That's what it means when I say all MLB. So anyways, let's get things started. So first, the catcher, the best catcher, all MLB, Adley Rutschman. From first baseman, from the Dodgers, Freddie Freeman. Second baseman from your Rangers, Marcus Semien. Shortstop from your Rangers, Corey Seager. Third baseman from your Braves, Austin Riley. Outfielders from your Braves, Dodgers, and D-backs, Ronald Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts, and Corbin Carroll. Very good job from Corbin Carroll there. From the Angels for DH, Shohei Ohtani. And then your starting pitchers from the following teams: the Yankees, the D-backs, the Padres, the Angels, and the Braves. Can you guess them? I bet you can't. Garrett Cole, Zach Gallen, Blake Snell, Shohei Ohtani, and Spencer Strider. And then your two relief pitchers from the Baltimore O's as well as the Padres, Felix Bautista and Josh Hader. So congrats to all of those players on being on the All-MLB first team. And now we'll take a gander at the All-MLB second team. Basically, the second best team. Excuse me. Starting off with catcher from the Rangers, it's Jonah Heim. First baseman from the Braves, Matt Olson. Second baseman from the Braves, Ozzie Albies. Shortstop from the Mets, Francisco Lindor. Third baseman from the Guardians, Jose Ramirez. Outfielders from the Yankees, Rangers, and Astros, Aaron Judge, Adolis Garcia, and Kyle Tucker. DH from the Astros, Yordan Alvarez. 5 starting pitchers from the Blue Jays, the Twins, the Rangers twice, and then Baltimore. It's Kevin Gausman, Sonny Gray, Nathan Eovaldi, Jordan Montgomery, and Kyle Bradish. And then your 2 relief pitchers from the Brewers and the Guardians, Devin Williams and Emmanuel Clase. So again, a big round of applause for those players. Whether you're on the first team or the second team, it is quite the honor. The 5th time we're doing this. It's made up of 50% fan votes and 50% from the panel of experts. But yeah, that is your first and second all MLB teams. The 5th year they have done that. And yeah, that's going to about do it for us today. Thank you everybody so much for listening. Again, sorry I didn't have an episode Friday. Just got busy, but here we are. We did it. Another episode done. MLB free agency is rolling. The holiday season is just around the corner. I'm still going to try to record an episode or 2 here, before the New Year's, to be honest with you. We're entering 2024 really soon. So I'm probably going to have an episode or 2 before the New Year's, possibly one on, the Wednesday, on the 3rd or something. I don't know. Schedule, like I said, is up in the air. That's why whether you're watching it on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this, turn on a notification if you can. That way you know for sure when I upload. That way you don't miss an episode. But thank you everybody so much. And I will see you guys next time.